know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn. JD,
what is up, Marcus? What's going on, brother? Happy Monday afternoon. It'll be Monday morning how we do our show, but it is this right we're live, yes, right? 8 p.m. or 8:15 EST, Eastern Standard Time. If you're out in Kansas City, you know it is about 7:15 your time. Good to see the folks out here. It's going to be a nice ride tonight, Marcus. We're going to have some really good conversation. I have the honor to introduce one of my good friends, one of our former strength coaches for the Kansas City Chiefs, in Jeff Hurd. So this is going to be a great conversation. We're going to have all the people out here that's in the chat to ask some questions about him. Let's say hi to everybody out here on the chat right now. Charles Driver, what's going on? Wendy, how's it going? Andrea Chenault, welcome. Good evening. Lacey Snake, Harama Biff, Traveling Man, what's going on? Vegas Chiefs Kingdom, good afternoon. Good afternoon. About time. How you doing? Zulu, what's going down? Let me see who else we got in here. Andrea, did I say Andrea already? I think, man, this is our folks. This is our folks, and I know what people are coming through. So it's gonna be a good time tonight. I want everybody to come out, ask some questions for Jeff. Jeff's got some really depth of knowledge about just getting ready for training camp, the approach for coaches, how to get guys prepared. It's just a lot there, man. Just when I'm talking about a wealth of knowledge, Jeff has done so much of just getting guys, I said it like forming a weapon out there on the football field. And so a lot of it starts with those guys getting the bodies prepared, getting the minds prepared mentally. And so it's going to be a good thing tonight, man. So,
and looking at Jeff's background, 92, 93, he was an intern, the strength and conditioning coach, intern with the Chiefs. And then a few years later comes back over as the strength and conditioning coach. I think it's pretty cool. It's like one of those things. It's like, maybe they tell you with all these young bucks, all the college kids out there, when you get your first internship, make sure that you go to your normal job, because you never know. A couple of years I've been calling you to be the guy, or the woman in charge. So I think it's pretty cool that only a couple years later he became the guy in Kansas City, and he was there for a long time. Obviously, Chargers as well, and the Minnesota Vikings. So he's been around. He's been around the league for a while. So that's pretty good stuff. I can't wait to rack his brain and hear what he's got to say tonight, because I think it's cool because it's a different angle than we usually tackle these things. We've had historians come on, obviously defensive players, offensive players, coaches, but having the strength and conditioning coach is just a totally different angle altogether, JD. So I'm excited about this one.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. And you just said it right there, man. I mean, to Minnesota Vikings, to Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Chargers, consultant with Special Forces. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, this guy has done it all. He has done it all. Personally, one of the guys used to get me ready when I was playing, and Jeff is one of those guys that you can have great conversations with, and I'm talking about years of experience and personalities. So it's going to be a fun time tonight, man, to kind of talk about these things. So without further ado, let's bring Jeff on in.
Let's bring him in.
Hey, my man. What's up, JD?
Man, Jeff, Hurd, what's up, baby? How's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm good. We connected okay. I got this right. As far as the sound and the picture, good.
$10.
Good, man. Looking good as ever, Jeff. Looking good as ever, brother.
I'm trying to stay hard to kill. You know what I mean?
I know that's right. Shoot. Hey, I know that's what you're all about, man. I love the little Fu Manchu. You're going down a little bit deeper down here from the last time I see you.
Long in the tooth, so I thought I'd let this get a little long too. Might hide something, cover up, you know.
Right. It's all good, man. It's all good, man. Now, Jeff, listen, I just want to let you know, man, thank you for coming on tonight. I was telling Marcus, man, been wanting to holler at you. You know, I've been reaching back out at you, kind of on Instagram. I ain't on Instagram a lot. I kind of get on Instagram every once in a while, sneak on, sneak off. Right. Anytime I get on Instagram, I see sometimes if I put something out there, you always love it. I'm just like, that's my guy. Man. Yeah, that's my guy, man. And so, Jeff, man, it is an honor and a pleasure, man, to have you out here tonight, man, to talk to you. We got some people here in the chat that wants to ask you some questions. Obviously, we won't get into some real football, man, just talking some stuff, man. You know how we do. You know how we get down, man. So
always have.
Oh yeah. Can
I tell a story on you real quick?
Sure.
Please do.
Got it. Yeah.
No, everything's in the vault. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's one thing I always promise. I keep things in the vault.
Right.
But how we met is kind of interesting. We only got like a week off. Strength coaches did. Mm-hmm. So I was in Denver with my wife, and we were chilling up in Colorado. And all of a sudden, Gunther calls me. He says, "Hey, you got to come back in." I said, "Man, Gun, I just got out here." She goes, "Man, we just signed this tight end, and he got a bad wheel. You got to come in here and help and get him right before everybody starts showing up." I said, "Man, all right." And he didn't tell me who it was. So when I get back, I go up to his office, and my wife's not real happy with me. I'm kind of grouchy about coming back off vacation. And then he said, "We signed Jason Dunn." And the first thing that popped in my head was, "Oh, Lord, is this the guy that I saw chase down the Hall of Famer, the DB for the Redskins? Help me out here."
Darryl Green?
Darryl Green.
He said, "Is that the tight end, the big man that chased down Darryl Green?" I said, "I'm on board. Let's go to work." And that's how we met. We spent a lot of time together getting that knee right.
Yes, we did, man. I tell you what, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for just your contribution, how you mean to me.
You did the work, brother. You did the work. I just kind of showed you the way, and you put in the time.
Hey, man, but that's you know what? I always make this point. Like, nobody does it alone. You just can't. I mean, we can.
You're right.
We can kind of motivate ourselves somewhat, man, but you have somebody holding you accountable, somebody, like you said, showing you the way, things you can do better, just kind of being on you, man, that is important. That is important, man. And just, kind of, talking a little bit too, it's kind of funny. When I would come in a little bit out of shape, and so, obviously Dick would get on me, be like, and me, Rolf, and who's these guys? Well, Jeff, man, you will put a plan together, like, just to get, like, immediately.
Come on. Let me help you out. Come on.
Yes, yeah. And so I'm going to tell you.
Let me save you some money. Get that money out of your pocket now.
Oh, man. Well, look, we're going to get into it tonight, man. I'm telling you, we're going to get into it tonight. Because Jeff, we got so many great stories. I mean, so many great stories that we could just talk about. Just the whole process of getting guys prepared, getting them ready. But that's what I was saying before is, as players, y'all like the guys behind the scenes that people don't really get to see. Okay. They talk about the head coaches and, position coaches a lot, but I don't think strength coaches, trainers get they due like they should. Okay. And that's fine. I know for you, you're humble, man. I know for you, you're not about that at all, right? Like, for the way that we think about you, we appreciate you, brother. We love you. You know
I
that.
love that was a good group. I know this. I figured the less I was out front was probably the better, because as a strength coach, we got way more credit than we deserved, and we also got way more blame than we deserved too. So I just let you guys speak for me. I let our plays speak for me.
Yeah.
And I just, kept my nose down and worked and tried to help everybody I came in contact with to be the best version of themselves they could be.
Yeah.
And it's about what we accomplished, not what one guy, one coach. I see some of these guys out there that bang their own chest, and hey, I got this guy here. I did this for this guy. I did this. Hey, there was a football team way before there was a strength coach. And some guys get that twisted up. I mean, it's not about the strength program. It's about the football team.
Mm-hmm.
The strength program is a vital role in that. But you know what? It's still about the team, the football team.
Right. And the thing is, without these moving parts, without you all and the coaches, like the trainers, upper management, like everybody plays in this part in the organization and the team of getting guys ready. Right. And so we talking about the grounds crew to everything, and that's for me. You know how I am, man. I'm around y'all guys. I'm around the ones that are putting the work and stuff like that in. Because I feel like I'm the one that's doing the hard lift. I wanted that. I love doing those things, to try to help out the team. It was never about me, catches, and none of that. It was always about the team and further than that. But I just had to say that foundation, man, what you did, man, just setting it for the guys is so pertinent to what you do for the success on the team, right?
You remember, I'll never forget one of the most, and no one even really knows about this, but one of the things that would always make me feel good about what I was doing is, we got Willie Rofe in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Willie liked the weight room.
Yeah.
So first game of the year, I can't remember who we were playing. It was one of those high intensity teams, one set to failure on a machine. I think it was Cincinnati. Anyway, he comes off the field after the first series, and we drove the ball down the field. He comes off the field and grabs me. I didn't see him coming by one arm and kind of picked me up off the ground, looked me in the eye and said, Coach, they don't lift that real iron. I don't feel them. They're feeling us all day today. And I'm like, yes.
That's right. That's right, man. That's true. Look, Jeff, man, I'm telling you, we were so dominant, but it started in the weight room, right? It started with putting those things together.
Two things. One, we had a good group, and you guys like to eat that iron. But also Dick was very supportive. That was an important thing to him. So, he would support the fact that when we pushed you guys and when we, the things we asked you to do, he was behind us 100%,
Yeah.
I've been in a situation where you were a sheriff without a gun down there, and that's awful. That's awful, but Dick always, and I was fortunate. All but one, and I'm not going to mention any names, but every head coach I worked for, the weight room was important. And that made my job like really good. And the players, majority of them, once they trusted you, that you were on, your agenda was to help them, not make yourself look special, to help the players be the best they could be. They start trusting you. And that's the only agenda you had. And you were sincere about it, man. They worked. You guys worked. There's no doubt about it. You guys came in and worked.
Yeah. But that was, we established that relationship kind of early. Like you said, we're the first when we come in early in the morning. We're seeing you all. Okay, right. We're getting our bodies prepared and ready, so we know throughout the entire week that you can't be ready to play in the football game unless we come see you all first. That's just bottom line. There's no getting past it. I don't care what you do, how good you think you are, receiver, corner, kicker, punter, whatever it is, everybody's in the weight room. And I know you made sure that everybody was in the weight room, and that was our foundation. That was part of the reason that we played tough. That was the reason that when we was out there pushing bodies around, that was all that what we put into the weight room. And you was talking about Coach Ramil. Well, Coach Ramil was in the weight room lifting. I think he was on the, seriously, clanging. Yeah.
You would get on that hammer bench press machine.
Yeah.
Put 2 plates on, just rep out, and then get up. Well, he started out. He was a strength coach / special teams coach.
That's right.
Way back in the day, before he, did his deal. But yeah, that was fun seeing him come in there, and and the players they liked having him in there. He wasn't like playing 5-0 or anything. He was in there. He looked around. He saw who were. But he always left satisfied because everybody was working.
Oh yeah,
everybody was working.
Well, shoot, if you seen your head coach out there clanging weights, you better be in there, right? What's keeping you out there? And we looking at this man who was in his 70s, clanging, throwing things back, and I'm just like, and you can hear him like clanging, like clang.
Oh yeah, I think he did that on purpose so people. Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. So, go ahead, Marcus.
You got a lot of comments in here from the chasing down Darryl Green. You got be good in here, Dunn chase down Green. No way that dude could fly.
Oh no, go look it up. Go find the tape. Go find the tape. JD had the angle on him. He picked it off and thought he was gone for touchdown. JD ran him down.
Damn.
Am I lying, JD?
No, hey, that's the truth. And I even beat Darryl Green on a post backside when I was playing in Philly. And I told Darryl about it. I would go up there with Vernon Dean. You remember Vern?
Oh, yeah.
So Vern and him and Darryl Green are real tight. And I went up there to a golf tournament. So I told Darryl, I said, Darryl, man, I ran a backside post on you in Philly and had you beat by like 10 yards. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, did you catch the football? I'm like, no, it's overthrown. He said, well, I don't even count then. I'm like, oh.
No count. That's no
count. Right. He said, you beat me all in for no reason. I said, I got you. I said, but that was some good stories, man. I had a lot of speed back then, man. And when I was in Philly, man, I really felt like I couldn't just run with the best of them. And I could definitely run with the best of them. And so, like you said, a bad knee, 2 knee surgeries. I found myself in Kansas City, and Gunther brought me in, and he told me, he said, look, Dunn, I seen what you did against us. Who's it? Who was the O'Neal? Who was it? Y'all had Leslie O'Neal. Gunn told me, he said, Dunn, he said, you blocked Leslie O'Neal, and you was making him like quit almost. He said, when I seen you that,
it was a linebacker too. Rest his soul. He died in a car accident. Simmons,
yes, right.
Gunther said you changed him forever too.
Yeah. So that's what I was telling. I talked about this last week. I said, man, like the affinity I have for Gunther, because Gunn's the one that brought me into Kansas City. I said, man, I love that dude, man. God rest his soul. Because, he had a conversation. But as soon as I talked to Gunn, it was no doubt I was coming to Kansas City. None whatsoever. Yeah. So, and y'all brought me in, man, just as family coming in. It's a little different when you come from a different team and you find yourself a new home. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to learn people all over again and whatnot. And so different philosophies and what like that, man. But I'm telling you, Jeff, just meeting you and, just kind of bringing me into the fold. Just like, all right, man, we're going to work. And I could tell just with you was about business, but also, too, I knew it was like a relationship being developed there. Okay. And that was part 100%. Of what, the organization was given.
That's one reason why I loved my job was because, I promised myself during my internship, I said, I will never be 5-0. Now, if there's somebody that's doing something that's detrimental to the whole team, and I can't get it straightened out, then we'll go upstairs. But we'll try to figure it out first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go running upstairs, every little thing that comes up. And once you develop that trust, I mean, you think about it, the conversations that guys would come in and have with me about anything other than football because they trusted that it would stay in the vault. And I would help them figure it out. whether it was with the wife, with the kids, at home, with their position coach, whatever it was. Right. We would try to come up with a solution, you know.
Yeah.
And so, guys, the only lineup I had was who worked and who didn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to play any politics with who's starting, who's not getting playing time. And I would go up and stand on the table for guys in meetings and say, hey, this guy, he's an asset to the locker room, to the weight room, to the whole team. And, you know, it was easy to go do that for guys that worked their butts off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I loved having those relationships with the players where we could, figure out life stuff too, not just sets and reps and how to get stronger and faster, but how to be a better man, you know. And that was the best part about my job.
Well, brother, look, and you made it a home. You made it because I've been in there plenty of conversations just sitting around the weight room. And certain different organizations are not like that. Some guys are in and out, you know, and then other ones like the environment that you produced, guys would sit around and talk and have conversations. You know, man, come on. I would come into your office, and we'll sit down, and that's what I loved about it, man. You had such an open door where guys would come in and talk about what was going on off the field and whatnot, and not being 5-0, you know, like 5-0, like the police and, you know, information. If people didn't get what that was. But that we appreciated that because we knew you was going to hold it close to your chest. We knew that. We knew any secrets that we had, it stayed right there with you. Like you said, if it was detriment, you would tell us. You would let us know if we was messing up. You would let us know, man.
I'll tell you the truth. I'll be real.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. Yeah. So now we appreciate it so much, brother. We appreciate it so much. So kind of talking about that. And you said, you know, when guys have things that was kind of detriment, you know, you talk about family, you're talking about relationships, and we're trusting you all. How hard is it when you see guys, you know, that you love, that you become friends with and develop relationships? How hard is that when sometimes contract talks take you to a different direction when a guy has to leave, and then, you know what I mean, you've developed these relationships, man? Kind of talk about that. What's the feeling of those things, man? How does that work?
That's always hard. I mean, even, you know, my time clock still goes off a little bit. Even I've been out for a while.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Like, I get a sense when training camp's supposed to start. I feel like that those old anxieties come in. Like, do I have everything ready? Do I have everything packed? Is the program all ready? Same thing with cut day. I still I hate cut day. I hate trade deadlines because, you know, it's a business and you're going to see guys come and go all the time. But I always treated people like they were going to be there forever. And that's how I tried to treat every guy on the team was, you're going to be with me forever, and that's how I'm going to treat you.
Yeah. Because
you never know. They may leave, you may leave, and you may end up being back together again on a different club, you know, different environment. So you want to always have those relationships, you know. You never burn bridges, but it was still hard. Like there was times where, especially the older guys, when they would get told, you know, we're not going to pay you anymore, or we're going to trade you, or we're going to cut you. Those are hard times, you know. And I would try to hunt them down and seek them out and tell them, this is not something that you should judge yourself by. You know, football is just what you do for a living. This does not define you as a man. You know, how you handle this will define you as a man, and what you do going forward will define you as a man. And
wow, that's good.
You know, just, hey, you got to go. You got to pick up and figure out the next move, and have confidence in the fact that, you know, you can still help a team. Don't lose sight of that. And if you're done, hey, feel good about what you did and use everything that you did to be successful to help you from this next chapter of your life, and you'll be fine.
I tell you what, brother, that's tough. And words of wisdom like that help soften the blow. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're like the therapist, you know.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. And guys need to hear that. Because sometimes guys leave and that was it. I say this all the time when I was in Philly, not necessarily indicative of the organization in itself, but how I got released and left from Philly, it was literally like telling me take my stuff and get out of here. It wasn't one of those, hey, feel good, pat you on the back, Jason, and whatnot. It wasn't. It didn't feel like that. It wasn't that way at all. And so when I found myself out, it was literally like thrown on the streets. Yeah. And you know how it is. It's the business side of it, right? Nobody likes the business side. For a young guy, had played there. I was still learning the business side, but that was like a real deep look into the business side of things, the bad stuff in the NFL. Whew, Jeff, I was hurt by that, man, for a long time, brother. For when I'm telling for a long time, I'm talking about like the entire year, I could not watch football. I had a hard time just looking at any football on TV, just talking about it. Even my boys that were still there playing, because it's your friends. Right. And I don't want to hear about any of that. None of it, man. And it took me to a bad spot, man. But thank God. I just say thank God, for God coming into my life, that what you just said, that I'm more than just football. I'm more than a football player, right? And mine was because I was a child of God, and God made me to who I was, that allowed me to come out there in Kansas City and give everything I wanted to give, So then, man, that's perfectly said, Jeff. It's perfectly said, man. So
you should put those hands on some people. I know that. Lock them up.
Hey, man. Believe me, if I could, I would have. I think it had to escort me out because they knew I was going to put my hands on a few people. So
I meant during the game. You get locked up.
During the game. Well, yeah.
Nowhere, man.
No. Yeah, during the game now. That I put these meat hooks in them. Jeff, It was all over. Yeah, it was all over. Jeff, we used to have a routine. You was a guy that used to stretch me before the games to get me right. Exactly. And I tell you what, man, if you didn't stretch me before the game, I couldn't play. I couldn't be right, man. I had to find you every time. Like, man, Jeff, please, I need to get these hamstrings and all of that loosened up, the hips. And so I took what you taught me. Our whole routine when I started coaching high school and college, I took a routine there with everybody. And so that's what we would do. We would do your warm up when I was coaching high school and in college. Oh, that's what. Oh man, yeah. And so I would get. Go ahead.
The key to that was I made sure you did something to just about break a sweat first. You had to be kind of warmed up. I never wanted to stretch you cold. Because that makes you fight against it when you're cold. But if you've got some blood flow going and you slightly got your core temperature up, that's when stretching makes a big difference.
Oh yeah. Nah, man, but that was our routine, man. I had to have you before every single game. Like, man, where's Jeff? Oh my gosh, Jeff, I need you. So
the thing is, I'd be in a full-on sweat by time kickoff because you're some big jokers now, and I'm out there. I mean, stretching like half a dozen, 25 guys. These big old boy. I'm stretching them, and I'm like getting them warmed up. Whew, let's get the kickoff, man. I'm done. Let's go.
Oh man, I hear you.
I didn't put no gear on. I didn't put no gear on until the last second because, I'd be all sweaty and lathered up. I didn't put no. All I had on was my workout stuff until the last second, and I go screaming into the locker room and put my sideline gear on.
Who was the who would you say was the toughest guy from that 2003, like that era of Chiefs? Who's the strongest guy of all those guys? For pound, who would you say is the strongest guy? 'Cause there's a lot of strong dudes, especially on the offensive line, and obviously JD, of course. But who would you say was probably the strongest guy?
Obviously JD, Brian Waters, Willie Roaf was strong. I would say pound for pound though was Marcus Patton.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Linebacker. I mean, just yoked.
Yeah.
I mean, that joker would come in after practice and grab the 180s dumbbells and bench press with him. I mean,
God.
Unbelievable. I don't
180?
know. Oh yeah. You know, we
Jeez.
had dumbbells went up to 200s.
Yeah.
In our weight room.
Yeah.
And he would grab the 180s and hit a set of 8 and rack them up. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Marcus Patton looked like an action figure.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Yes. Looked like an action figure, man. And I used to lock up with him when I was in Philly. He was with Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Yeah. And so when he got out there to Kansas City, man, just seeing him up close. And he was a guy, like you said, in the weight room after every practice. He was always in there. Always.
Well, he'd come in and do his early morning deal and then come back after practice and do a little more, you know, whatever he felt like he didn't get enough of. It was crazy.
Wow.
But, you know, I'm sure I'm missing some people, but we were strong across the front.
Oh, yeah.
Wellborn, when he came in, he was strong.
Yep.
You know, our defensive line was strong.
Mm-hmm.
God, everybody hit the eye. Everybody loved hitting the eye. There was a couple guys I had to chase down or would be trying to see if I'd forget about them, you know, back in the locker room, and I have to go find them. But those are usually those pretty positions, you know, the perimeter guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, you get your left in. Oh, man, come on, Jeff, man. I can't be now.
Come on. You know I'm not going to mess your game up. I'm not going to kill you. I just want you to stay healthy and stay on the field. So come on. You know I'm not going to, you know.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Yeah, Jeff, before we have some questions from the chat. Before we get to that, I just wanted to ask something that I don't know. JD and I have kind of talked about this before, but when guys go away, when the season's over, when they go away, and they're not free agents, obviously, how much contact do they have with the strength and conditioning coaches? Like when they're off on their own? Because some of these guys nowadays have their own guy, their own trainer they work with in the offseason, but how often are they like kind of communicating with you when you were coaching?
Well, it's crazy now. It's totally different. I mean, you know, I used to like guys, depending on how deep we went into the playoffs, to go do something different for that month. I always want them to take 2 weeks and just recover because they've been getting ran over by a train for 16 weeks at least. And if you start up like immediately, you haven't let all that edema and the injury part of it, that underlying that you've been fighting through, the soreness, you need to let that get out of your system. So I would tell them sweat and stretch for 2 weeks. Just get on a stationary bike, you know, elliptical, and then stretch and let your body heal and recover, and then start back light. And we would always be in contact. Plus, we had a great off-season attendance. I've been blessed every place I was at, whether it was Jacksonville, Kansas City, the Chargers. I mean, we would have at least, you know, 85, 90%, sometimes 100 as far as participation in the off-season program. So I was always in contact with guys. And then the CBA came, and which part of it was really good and part of it wasn't. You know, the players, and JD can speak to this, it kind of got sideways because they didn't want to not work out. They just didn't want as much of the contact and the football stuff going on year round. Mm-hmm. But the owner said, okay, well, then go work out on your own, basically. And our hands got tied. What year was that? I can't even remember now, but guys could come into the weight room, but I couldn't. All I could do was spot them. I couldn't give them a program to do legally. I couldn't take them out and run them. They had to do everything on their own until like 2 weeks before minicamp, basically. And, you know, it got to be awful as far as keeping that relationship. So that's why all these guys start getting their own guy, you know, to help them train in the off season. And you know, you had to be real careful because towards the end, like I said, you get them 2 weeks before, not 2 weeks before minicamp, 2 weeks before training camp. And if you were lucky, you know, you couldn't grind them to get them in shape, or else they'd get hurt the first day of training camp or the first day of minicamp, either one. I mean, it was, you know, you kind of had to just help them not be that sore for minicamp or training camp. You couldn't, if they didn't come in shape, you know, you'd have a conditioning test and just cross your fingers and pray to God that no one pulled anything, you know.
Yeah.
And because you'd get blamed for that too.
Oh man. So Jeff, with that being said, man, is there a contention then? Like if a guy comes back and he's like, look, I've been working with my own trainer for all this time, and now I'm coming in with the team, trainer, and strength coach, and y'all want me to do something different. Do y'all kind of adapt to what they did with their own trainers to kind of get them ready, or what? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a slippery slope. I mean, you have to have, as a team, you have to have your basic things that you believe in that everybody needs to be doing. And then you have to work with guys like, okay, if JD, I look back at it, we lifted the hardest, we conditioned the hardest, and we stretched the best. And I look back at it, and we didn't have, we had nicks, but we didn't have that many injuries. Now it's so scientific, you got to wear a GPS monitor and this year overloaded, we got to back you off. And it just seems that there's more and more injuries though. I don't have an answer, whether it's just because guys don't train old school enough. I think technology's great, and I think workload is great. But how do you know when to back a guy off if you haven't found out what his limit is?
Right.
To back him off. I don't know what the answer is, but sure seems like something's getting a little sideways that, guys are, whether it's they're not getting enough football type work now before mini camp or before training camp, or, if they're getting treated like a racehorse. Yep, that's good. Come on in. Let's put a blanket, brush you off, and put you back in the stable, rest up, I don't know, but there's definitely something going on there needs to be a happy medium, I think.
It has to be because
it's like you got they're treating them like track guys and then turning them loose to play football. Something's going to break.
Right.
Weak stuff breaks. I don't care what you say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, it's a physical game, and if you're not practicing physical, then you're going to break.
Oh,
it's just what it is, man. It just and there's a level of toughness of training that you have to get to. And so if you are doing all these little cute drills out here, you're doing the newest thing that people see on YouTube and everybody's copying the same thing, then I do see a lot of the soft tissue tears, tweaks, and all these different things because you haven't been training hard. You just been running cones all off season, right? Yeah. We've been on this machine that, measure how fast. It's like, dude, like you got to get in the lab. We call it a lab for a reason, right? Exactly. That's how it works. So now I agree with you.
But, you had to work with guys or they wouldn't come in sometimes, like I know I'm going to stay away. I'm going to stay with my guy. Mm-hmm. The first guy that I ran into that with, and the guy worked his tail off. Don't get me wrong, was TG, Tony.
Yeah.
He would come in and say, hey, there's some stuff that I need to do. And I'd say, okay, well, let's do this and that. And let's work around this and do this. He'd want to do cleans because of his back. I said, okay, let's do a dumbbell clean. What's that? All right, I'll show ahead, do a dumbbell clean. We'll do that to a box jump. So we're still getting that triple extension, but you're not grabbing a bar and doing a clean with it, so you got to be able to work with guys, especially if they're not trying to get out of stuff. They just feel that this is what's best for their body.
Right.
And if they're giving me enough that I'm happy with it, that they're going to be ready to go on the field, then I'm okay with that. I don't have a big enough ego that just because you're not, I tell players all the time, nobody ever got cut because they couldn't bench 400 pounds or squat 600 pounds. They got cut because they couldn't move. That's usually why you get cut. So, you got to make sure you stay on top of that stuff too, which, we always tried to do. We did a lot of movement stuff with the Chiefs, as far as trying to incorporate, making sure we just weren't one-dimensional.
Yeah. Well, I always look at our offensive line, man. We were very nimble, and a lot of it had to do with, some of the work that you did with us. We would do, you was the first one to kind of introduce a lot of like the martial arts to it as well during off season.
Yeah, with Bob Liker. Yeah.
Bob Liker. Yeah, man. I seen Bob. Where did I see Bob at? I talked to him somewhere, man. I blew my mind. Maybe it was out at the Chiefs game, and I seen him.
He's always there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I ran into Bob, man. We just hugged each other, man, and just talked about that time, man. So it was a good time seeing him for sure.
Yeah.
But,
We did a lot of those in the offseason. We did a lot of those pattern runs, where
yes.
I drew up a tree route for every position.
Yep.
And there was 12 routes. Whether you were a lineman, I had 12 things that linemen do during a game. And, we would do all those movements with resistance. And because that's the other thing. I don't think, you could run and do everything, but if you're not doing it against resistance, sometimes your body's not ready for contact because you haven't done it against anything, so
right.
that's important. And, it's funny. I was talking to, it's when I was with the Chargers, and it was like 2 years after the CBA, Nick Hardwick, offensive lineman. And,
yep.
He was a player rep guy, and he was a big, proponent of getting the CBA done and things like that to change things for the better for the players. And one day he came into my office. He says, "You know what, Hurd, man?" He goes, "I think now we were overhitting before, no doubt. We were too much, too early. But now," he goes, "I don't think we're getting enough." He goes, "I don't feel calloused until like 3 weeks into the season." And I said, "What do you mean by calloused?" He said, "Well, you know how a guy in karate or martial arts, they take things and hit their shins to kind of build up a callus on the shin?" He goes, "I think that occurs inside us. We get kind of calloused up and get used to contact."
Absolutely.
He goes, "I don't think we're getting enough now. We've kind of gone too far the other way. We were beating the crap out of each other before the season got here, but now I don't think we do enough, as far as getting calloused up on the inside, used to taking on blows and just having your body ready for that."
I agree with him 100%. 100%. Like I said before, for you to be tough, you got to train tough. And for you to be ready at the beginning of the season, like you had to go through a hard regiment, hard exterior to get your body ready for those type of hits and those blows. And when that first CBA started changing up where you can only hit so many times a day and put pads on so many times a week, you start seeing a lot of like these little tears and people getting hurt.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, Jeff, where guys weren't getting calloused. Their bodies just wasn't ready for the type of demand that you're asking on a football field.
Yeah. And I'll be the first to admit, I think we were wearing some guys out. Trust
me.
I think there was too much going on. But now, you have to go through some of that to get your mind right and to get your body right. You can't 3 games into the season, shoot, you might have dug yourself a hole already,
Right.
If you're not hurt, you're 0-3 or 2, 1-2, and that's a hard hole to climb out of.
Yes, sir. We're going to ask some people about some chaps. So Noah John Marshall said, "What does Jeff think of the proposed new offseason schedule that eliminates OTAs and voluntary and longer off seasons, but longer camps that starts like June?" He said, "I think it sucks." So what do you think, Jeff, about that? Getting rid of OTAs and stuff.
I don't know how if you get rid of them totally, I don't know how you, with the way free agency is and things like that, I don't know how you get your install done. I think you need to have some days. I really do. I think I've heard from a lot of players that they want to be able to, do the strength conditioning and things like that. They just don't want to be beating the crap out of each other. But you don't have to do that to get your install done. And I think having the team come together, it doesn't have to be all summer, but enough times where you can get some install done so that when minicamp comes, nobody's completely overwhelmed and it ends up being a big cluster of mistakes. So, and I think the longer training camp with the new rules, where you can't hit back-to-back practices. You have to have a walkthrough after a padded practice. I think those things they take care of guys, and if it's longer, then it allows them a chance to get more in shape and get ready to go. I think it's how you construct your training camp, though. So you don't play the games in that time period during training camp. I think
Right.
you need to make sure that you're taking care of guys a little bit, but you're still getting the work done that you need. That make any sense?
No, it makes total sense.
Here's what I used to be afraid of. I was afraid at the end of the offseason, there was almost a month sometimes before training camp started.
Right. Yes.
Now, how's everybody going to show up? Are they going to keep doing what they're supposed to do? You can work and you honestly think you're working hard in your mind, but when there's no competition, it's different. It's a whole different beast when you get back together and start working with your teammates.
Oh yeah.
It takes everything to another level. I just think if they handle it right and allow enough prep work at the start of training camp, it can be longer. It can be longer. But if you just come in and the coaches turn the light switch on and it's full go football, I think you're asking for bad stuff to happen.
I agree.
I really do. You got to be able to build into it. I always felt personally if I had, sometimes I think there was a little bit of overkill at times in the off season. I think if I had a good solid 6 weeks of no football, I could have guys ready to go, full go. You can have them now, coach.
Yeah.
Take care, do what you want with them. But I need a good 6 weeks, and that's how we would kind of build in the off-season program. We'd start out, we'd kind of make sure we were doing prep work and getting ready to go. And then that last 6 weeks or 5 weeks, we were going hard. I mean, every day. And then we kind of had an unload week right before mini camp. So guys would kind of freshen back up. But we went hard that, 5 to 6 weeks prior to, and guys were flying around.
See, and I'm thinking of it like from a player standpoint. Like I love doing the off season. I loved it because you could get with your guys, but also too, we were working out. You could see other guys working. You all working together, right? And you could see building up toward what the season was going to be. And I get that. I get that whole, like you said, a whole month before training camp. Because I was a victim sometimes. Like I think I work, or sometimes in my head, but like, okay, let me take a vacation. I'm gonna take a vacation with the kids.
Exactly.
Just kind of wind down, right? And so you might get into some bad habits. You want to really kick your feet up. I'm gonna drink because you know what's coming in the next month. You know that you're in. It's gonna be a dog fight. You know that.
Right. Yep.
So, if it starts in June for players, is the monotony going to get to us? The question, right? Is it like you start June, July, August? You ain't gonna start playing until September. So you almost talking 2.5, almost 3 months that you're doing camp, right?
Right.
I mean,
well, you're either going to get it at the front end or the back end. I mean, and so there's an issue with if you get it all done too early, then guys don't come in ready to go. But if you handle it right, I think that it'd be okay if, you had more time off after the season.
Yes.
And then had a longer off season prior to training camp.
Okay.
And then I would still be an advocate of, okay, you guys get out of here for a week and then we come back and we start camp. Because I think that would be beneficial. But I could see the point of having a longer period of, like the off-season training camp kind of thing, take a week and then we're coming back and we're going hard again,
Yeah.
Because it's hard to totally detrain in a week.
Oh, that's
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes I know when I was younger, I could take a week off and come back and I'd be stronger. It was crazy. Now I take a week off and it takes me a month to get back.
Me too, guilty.
Yeah, it's like so. I would be if they structured it that way. I think you got a chance for it to be successful.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, I've heard from some of the guests we've had on the show before how everyone's talking, and I've seen different documentaries, Rams teams, Chiefs teams, of guys talking about the dreaded conditioning tests of different meals. Now, is that Was that your conditioning test? But it was just deemed Dick Vermeil's Coach Vermeil's conditioning
No,
test.
it
Or was
was
that
Dick's.
yours?
No, it was Dick's. No, that's what he wanted. I mean, it was brutal too. It was brutal. Tom Coughlin had one too in Jacksonville that was just, it was hard to even train for it. You could train for it. It was still hard to pass,
Oh, yeah.
It was awful. It was awful. I'd pray the night before, Lord, please let these guys get through this healthy. Please let us. Because, you could send a guy back like for 2 weeks in training camp. I mean, you had to be careful with that. But I tell you what, it definitely was hanging over people's heads while they were gone that they got to come back and do this,
Oh, man.
And you'd know who was in shape and who wasn't, but
immediately,
man, I'd be like, please, Lord, help us get through this. Let us get through this so we can have a good training camp.
Oh, man, it'd be funny too when you see guys that is not training like they should, running on their toes and just barely making it. You're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be brutal. This is brutal. Oh my goodness.
And then if they didn't pass it, they had to spend every morning with me till they passed it.
That's right. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh yeah. Nah, it was good stuff. So Jeff, I'm asking. So with that, the type of working out and stuff you'll do, I'm gonna ask about kind of like fringe players. Okay, we were having a conversation last week about fringe guys who may be on the bubble or making it or not making it. In your opinion, what does a guy have to do? Okay, to commit to make it on the team and the squad from your standpoint as a strength coach and as a coaching staff, because everybody's kind of wondering about the process, but you being on the inside, talking to the coaches and everything, y'all all talk, and fringe guys, okay? Mm-hmm. So kind of give me that conversation a little bit, man, if you will.
Well, whether you were a fringe guy or especially a rookie, I would tell them the same thing. I said, do not give them a reason. They look at me, what do you mean? Don't give them a reason to cut you. I mean, I could go out here downtown Kansas City and find half a dozen guys with talent level to play in the NFL, but they don't know how to be a pro. And that's what you got to do. I said, you stay in your playbook. You don't get behind on your playbook. You're not late for meetings. You work your tail off in the weight room, and you don't miss reps, and you're always taking visual reps. So when you do get a rep, you're ready to go and you don't mess it up. I said, you take care of your body. You're not downtown running the streets. I said, you just can't give them a reason. And then when there's an opportunity to play special teams, you be first in line. You be first in line, and you go be a special teams demon. I said, if you can do those things, you got a chance. Don't give them a reason to cut you, and you be a pro, and you play special teams. That'll give you the best chance you can have to make the roster.
Yeah, it's good. It's good
I don't
advice.
know if that's what you were asking.
No, that's exactly what I'm asking. Because sometimes we talk about special teams. I used to be the special teams coordinator here at Kentucky State, and I would always tell the guys when I have my my speech before the entire team is, if you want a seat on this bus, your butt better play special teams.
100%.
You better show me that you deserve to have a seat on the bus to go to games on Saturday. And so if you wasn't that guy, if you were a wide receiver or DB and you sitting back all the time, not getting on special teams, well, there ain't no way you're going to be able to make it. You're not going to make the ride. Yeah. And you're not going to make a NFL roster. I'm sorry. You're just not going to be able to. And so if you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to show me what it takes to get there to the next level, do everything in your power possible, right? Because all you want is opportunity. Mm-hmm. If you're not showing me that, then we don't need you. We can't use you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a bowl gift leech.
Oh,
you're just hanging around. I mean,
hanging around.
Especially at the next level, come game day, it's that roster. There's only so many guys that can suit up. And there's always that discussion in the coaches' meetings. All right, do we want to carry 4 wides? Do we want to carry 3 tight ends, 1 tight end? How many DBs do we want to carry? And it always boils down to, well, which one of these guys contributes the most on special teams? That's going to be the guy that ends up making that game day roster.
Yeah.
The 43. They're going to be on that 43 because they can do more than just possibly get in the game as a receiver.
Right.
They're actually contributing every play on special teams. And the thing is, I used to tell young guys, you want to learn how to play football? You learn how to play football on special teams. You run, you have to get through trash, you have to block, you have to go tackle, you have to learn body control and stay in your lanes and discipline. You learn how to play football. There's nothing that doesn't go on in special teams that doesn't occur at a position on the field. So you learn how to play special teams, it's going to help you learn how to play football.
Right. That's it. That's right. That's right. Man. And it's so much the unselfishness too.
Oh,
right.
100%.
That you had to develop.
100%.
Yeah.
What you did maybe allowed somebody else to make the tackle. Well, that's what happens on defense. You don't just, don't be a rat ball player and just go for stats. If you're supposed to be in this gap right here and take on the double team so a linebacker can scrape and make the tackle, you did your job. But if you start freelancing around and there's a gap and the guy's gone down the, running and hitting his head on the goalpost because that linebacker couldn't get to make the play, it doesn't work that way. Not as a team,
That's a good word right there, because sometimes a lot of people look at stats.
Oh,
they look at receptions and all those, like, well, how many catches the guy have? Well, I said this, we had the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame this past weekend, and we had like the All Commonwealth team. But I was telling these young guys, I'm like, look, I didn't catch a whole lot of balls. It's not about stats. It's like how your team felt about you. If they asked me, did I fold up this defensive end? That happened, right? Did I take the heart of this linebacker? Absolutely, yeah. Did I run down the safety and put him in a chokehold? 100%, right? Things that's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but it's going to show up on film, okay?
It shows up in the coaches' meetings too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed. So I always try to let the guys know, like, look, it ain't always about stats. Everybody wants to catch 100 balls. Everybody does. Get 1,200 yards a season. Run for 1,500 yards. As my nephew on here saying, word. He's one of those hard workers. But it was always, people always look at stats, man. And I'm just like, look, it's not always that. If you want to be able to stay in this league, you got to be able to create a niche, and you got to be something to make them try to cut you, make it hard for them to cut you.
Exactly. 100%.
So,
100%. And that one of the best compliments players can give each other, in my opinion, is when y'all are sitting around, you say, you know what? He was a good teammate. He was good teammate.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Everybody's a good player. Everybody's good that makes it that level. But the ones that are good teammates, that held each other accountable and didn't want to let the other guy down and did whatever he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And wasn't chasing the stats, you remember something Dick said, this was that stuck with me forever. So I was worried about whether I was going to get retained or not anyway. Well, Dick comes down to the weight room and he sits me in the office and says, you know what? Talked to a lot of people. He says, I'm going to retain you. And he goes, but you got to do me one favor. And I said, what's that? He goes, you need to take that sign down. And it was, everybody had it in their weight room. Check your ego at the door.
Yeah.
And he said, I want a new one put up. He goes, I'm a big believer in, for teams to be good, they have to have an ego, but it needs to be a healthy ego. And he says, a healthy ego is this: you don't think less of yourself, you think less about yourself. And if you do that, he goes, this is the kind of team I'm going to form, where they don't think less of themselves. They have confidence and that they can, that they're a good player, but they're thinking less of them, less about themselves and more about the team, what we can do to win.
Yeah.
And that hit me right between the eyes. I said, that's
good.
Yeah, that's way better than check your ego at the door. Just
It
make sure
is.
you have a healthy ego. You know?
Healthy ego, right? Yeah, like we still want you to be the man. We still want you to be confident, but
I'm still a badass, but I'm making sure I'm fitting in and helping everybody else along with me be a badass, you know, and doing my job, staying in my lane so that other guys can, you know, make plays too.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good, man.
And y'all did too.
Did it, man. But like I said, man, it goes back to like that foundation when you have head coaches that understand what it is that they want to build and how they want to build it.
Yeah.
You know, almost like the team now and how Andy's doing it with these young guys. And I see the reason the Chiefs are winning to me is because even though you do have egos, you have healthy egos.
Yeah.
You can see these guys playing for each other, right? It ain't always about Patrick Mahomes. It's not just about Travis Kelce. It's not about Chris Jones and those guys. Those guys believe in each other and they want each other to succeed. Yeah. You know?
And I watch that. When I watch them play, you know, you can watch some teams play and you can tell that's maybe a dysfunctional locker room.
Yes.
But you watch the Chiefs play and you could tell there's a care that they all have for each other. You know, and a respect that they have, and okay, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to win this game, and you know, it shows. It shows. Yeah. Obviously, their record proves it, but you know, you got to have that. You got to have that in the locker room. You got to have it in the work ethic. You got to have it, you know, teammate to teammate, coach to teammate, coach to player. I mean, you have to have that for it to work together.
That's right. That's right. Wendy, one of the followers over here was asking about, do y'all work with dietitian nutritionists? How do you do it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I first started, I wore all these different hats. I mean, I was the nutritionist. I was planning the road trips, you know, did you name it. Strength coaches did it. Signal in defensive signals. I mean, snapped every practice and pregame. I mean, it was crazy. But that nutritionist is 100% a very important part of each player. And to have one is a blessing. It's golden. And I'm sure every team has one now. But you could have a guy like that is calorically challenged, and I can help him.
Yeah. But
she can make it so much easier, you know, and she can get involved with the guy's significant other, the wife, take him shopping, show him how to shop, you know, break everything down into macronutrients and things like that. So nutritionists are unbelievable. And I'm going to get, you remember Mitzi?
Absolutely. I was just going to mention her name. Yeah. I seen. Yeah.
You know what? She has a product out now that it's called Simply Fuel. Have you seen it?
I've seen it because I follow her on LinkedIn, but I haven't seen the product itself.
I get it at Costco, and I'll tell you what, they're little protein balls.
Okay.
And they're light on your stomach, and I'll tell you what, I love them. I mean, my big deal now is to go dominate as many young guys as I can on the pickleball court. My life is deadlifts and pickleball. So anyway, but I carry them with me, you know, because, you know, I'm out there 2.5 hours sometimes. So in between, I'll eat a couple of these balls and I feel great. Like it's just a kind of a surge.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to give her a plug because she was really good for us with the Chiefs.
Yes, she was. I was going to say the same thing, Mitzi Doolin. And I just remember how Mitzi would work with us. And I don't know, like as far as I just know from our standpoint, if that was like one of the first ones that would do the nutrition. I know for us, she was. Yeah. Yes, she was. Early. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Mitzi, man. She's doing a heck of a job. One hell of a job. And I haven't got the protein balls yet, but I did see they was in Costco, and I told her congratulations for all the things she's doing and the business just growing. But she was so gracious with those things. Because remember, TG was starting his whole plant-based journey at that time, Jeff. And so
No.
Yeah. Mitzi's like, listen, if you want to be the guy that you've been, you still had to incorporate some type of animal protein and what, there was a happy medium she was able to do. So
right. I know he called me when I was with the Chargers. He called me and says, "Hey man, I went on this diet. I feel great." He goes, "Man, I feel weak as water though." I said, "Tony, I said, you can't go too far the other way. I mean, it's great. You want to eat clean, and it's going to help you when you're done playing. Man, you got to get some animal protein in you too. So what happens is if you go all plant, your estrogen levels go up. Guys don't know that, and that's bad news. If you're in a combative sport, the last thing you want is your estrogen levels to go up. So I know he made an adjustment, and it showed. He ended up playing really good for the Falcons, and he looked back like he was filling out his uniform like he was supposed to.
Yeah. Well, I told him I started changing a little bit of mine, getting like plant-based, but still have a happy medium. Like I did more like kind of pescatarian, had some chicken, but I stayed away from red meat as much. I don't do a whole lot of, red meat at all, but
that's good.
Yeah. And it's helped me. It's helped me with like just inflammation in my body and whatnot.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And we'd be on the flights, and Tony would be eating just a mushroom sandwich. And I'm just like, dude. And I do like, I make fun of him, right? I have like a nice big old, steak or something like, here. I know you want to eat a little bit here. Here you go. Just I'm running right by his nose and stuff. Yeah. So
I told him, I said, you look at the animals in nature, which one do you want to be like? I mean, you want to be one of those that eat plants all the time and gets his ass kicked, or you need to eat some dang meat, man, so you can be a hunter,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it is a happy medium. Obviously more, plants than you do meat, and protein is always good. Well, especially when you get older. Yeah.
Oh, I agree 100%. I
Jeff,
try to do that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said I've switched. I still try to get a gram of protein per pound of body weight, but it's not all, from steak and meat. It's plant-based stuff with chicken and lean meats and stuff like that. And, I'm doing everything I can, like I said, to stay hard to kill.
I hear you, brother. I need to see some of these pickleball matches to see how you killing them out there, man. So I tell you what, I got some. Go ahead and answer. Do you find that tweaked hamstrings tend to linger season long if a player returns too soon?
I would say yes, and it varies from each individual too, and where at in the hamstring is it? But yes, if they try to push back too soon, it can tear worse, because even a pull is a micro tear of the fibers.
Yeah,
a pull
right.
Is. So you got to be careful that you don't get overstretched. That you let it heal down pretty good before you start going full go. I mean, but you got to make sure hamstrings. If I had the answer to that, I'd be a millionaire right now, because it's a touchy subject. But I really think that not letting it rest long enough can be a hindrance down the road. It could be a turn from a 2-week thing into every game day thing if you don't let it recover and rest. Right.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy, our first round pick. A lot of fans wanted him to come out. I was like, well, how come he's not dressing out? And the thing is, he had tweaked his hamstring. So I'm just like, look, you're not playing the game right now.
Exactly.
The game's not played until September, and we don't need him at this moment. We don't need to see what he can do. We drafted him because we knew what he can do. And so if it takes that time for him to rest and all that, then everybody just needs to be patient and just wait for this guy to get back,
Right.
So,
and the thing, it's an opportunity to make sure that he doesn't have an imbalance somewhere, that's causing this hamstring tweak. Like, are his quads too strong for his hamstring, or look at his foot placement when he's running. Is he getting too far out over his feet? Is he reaching, or is he pushing off like he's supposed to instead of reaching to gain his stride length? There's if you use it as a positive, you can look at this and nip it in the bud early in a guy's career.
Yeah.
and offset maybe some imbalance that he didn't know he had that developed, through college, and take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I agree with you, because it's just, and I know some of the new technology and science is starting to do a little bit more of that, of like trying to, implement that and think a little far ahead, say, look, let's get ahead of this right now, so it isn't a problem that lingers and whatnot. But no, that's true. I agree with you.
And sometimes you'll see rookies too now, especially big time ones.
Yeah,
They have taken all this time to train for what? The combine.
that's right.
Right? They don't train. They get caught up in that, and that's fine, because if you run a certain 40 time and you do this, you're gonna make money. So you train for those events.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you get behind as far as training for football. Everything's very lineal, straight ahead.
Right.
Now you're not pushing off at angles with somebody leaning on you and stuff like that. So that can bite guys in the butt too. Maybe he just, hadn't done enough football stuff prior to showing up. It was training for the combine,
Yeah.
So you have to be careful of that too.
Okay. Have you heard about this new guy that we have, LRZ? Okay, kind of talk about him a little bit. He's a big rugby guy. Okay, and so we got a follower on here named Newt Rockney. It goes under the name Newt Rockney, of course. And so LRZ is making his transition from rugby being a star to the football field. What compliments do you see as far as rugby and football? I remember your son. What does your son do? I know he's one hell of a player. And what is he?
Well, he's a professional. Well, he hurt his knee, so he sat out this last year. But he played for the Los Angeles Aviators in that Ultimate Frisbee League.
Okay.
So it's like 7-on-7 with a frisbee, basically, is what it is.
Man, it's an Olympic sport, isn't it?
It should be. I don't know if it's on a trial basis right now. They're trying to push it into the Olympics.
Yeah. That's a real deal right there, man. That's a real deal.
But I think rugby has a pretty good carryover to the football field, as far as, it's like special teams. Rugby is, to me. It looks, the things that go on there is a lot like special teams. And I think if the hardest part is going to be not physically, I think it's going to be just learning the playbook and learning the schemes and learning, the difference between, football and rugby, as far as where you fit on the field, the spacing, things like that.
Right.
Is different. But I think physically, there's a high carryover.
Okay. So even like the linear stuff is not really an issue or problem there. Because
they break out. Depends on what position he played too.
Okay.
In rugby, but some of those guys, man, they can run, and they can run strong.
Yeah.
You've seen guys that they run. There's clock speed and there's football speed.
That's right.
And some guys play fast with their gear on, and they're able to move and avoid trash without stopping and stutter stepping, and they're strong when they get hit, and things like that. And I think that's the carryover from rugby that will help him. I'm anxious to see. I heard they signed him, and I thought, this might be an interesting project, but he's got to learn the football side of it to be beneficial for him.
That's right. Well,
and then even if he's on the practice squad for a year, if he shows that he can have that kind of physical talent and learn the game and learn how everything works and operates, then, it might be a diamond in the rough,
Right. And I think it'll take some time, like you said, the patience of it. If this is something you want to do and he's willing, you could see he's hungry, Jeff. You could see he's passionate about it. He said, the more I do, the better off will be doing it, of course. But I love that. I love the mentality about it. And so if he's developing, like you said, if he's on a practice squad learning, like, shoot, let him be there. Stash him if you could, right?
Yeah.
Just
let
keep
him play both sides of the ball so he gets a true picture of, the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't know what's his size? He's pretty big, isn't he?
I think he's like 6'2", 190.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let him play linebacker. Let him play tight end. Let him play rush end. Let him play, H-back. Let him do some different things and let him get a feel for the game. Find out where he fits and what he's comfortable doing. Because I think the physicality part of it's not going to be an issue for him.
Right. I love that, man. You're the first one I've heard to let him play both sides of the ball. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I just thought,
I would, but what do I know? I'm just an old raggedy strength coach, so I don't know.
we're about 45 years of experience in the NFL. Knows what he's talking about. You've been around some great ones. Which leads me to this question, okay? And this is from our friend Sean Barbershop. All right?
Barbershop.
Yeah, yes. I was asking these guys. I'm on a feed with him and Tony, Billy Baber, Kevin Locke, and those guys. And so I said, man, I got Jeff coming on tonight, man. What's some of the questions I want to ask him? So
I'm afraid to hear this one.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. So he, Shop was gonna have some good ones. He said, "Who's better, LT or Priest?" He said, because you got some Chargers.
Why do you want to put me on the spot like that?
Yeah, immediately. I said, "Oh my gosh, this is some good questions."
I'll answer it this way.
Okay.
Inside the box running, Priest.
Yeah.
Priest.
Okay.
Not that LT couldn't find his way through there, but I think Priest was hard nosed now.
Yes, he was.
Dude would lower his helmet on you, and he would. I mean, LT was just such a prolific type runner that, they were both good in their own way, if that makes sense, in their own style.
Yes.
Of running. I mean, LT set the record for touchdowns one year. You can't shrug at that. I mean, that's unbelievable. But Priest he was hard nosed when he ran. I can't say which one was better than the other, but they were both good in their own style. That's how I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
They're both like consumer pros, as far as their position. And,
yeah.
I can't put one over the other. I think, LT played, he had a longer career, I believe.
He did.
But, if Priest hadn't had that narrowing in the spinal column, he would have kept playing too.
Yes, he would have. Yeah.
So who knows, Man, plus he had you boys up front now. Whew. I might have had a couple 100-yard games running behind you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, but Priest was dangerous. We like, hey man, sometimes Priest made it look so much easier. He made our job a lot easier. Because he was so hard nosed. And that's the thing. He was just a muscle. He was just the body just put together. He was an absolute muscle.
Yeah, he was. And
yeah,
if he didn't get it quite right, he made you look right.
Yes, right.
Priest made you look right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're supposed to go this way, you block that way, he's gonna make you look right.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Good. No, that's a good answer, Jeff. That's a good answer on it. Here's another one.
Who's this one from?
This is from the group. This is another one from Barbershop. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is Darwin James a better athlete than Dale Carter?
Ooh. I don't know. Dale Carter may be one of the best I've been around.
Woo! I hear that a lot.
Joker now. If he could have just had a little bit more focus on football, they'd be talking about him as one of the best all time ever. But that Joker could run. He had great instincts. He'll hit you. He'll strike you. He had great cover skills. The only guy that I would put up there with him that I've worked with as far as is Antonio Cromartie.
Okay.
That cat now.
Yeah.
That cat could run like a receiver. and he lifted like a linebacker. He wasn't as physical as Dale, but he could. Man, was he an athlete! Unbelievable. We had this 40-yard hill that was about at a 30-degree incline, turf. I had a turf when I was with the Chargers, and we would sprint up that hill. Mm-hmm. And he's one of the few human beings that I saw could accelerate at the top end of the hill. He had a 6.5 yard stride length too. Unbelievable.
It's a bad boy right there, man.
Answer barbershop, I'd say Dale Carter.
Okay.
Staying with the hometown guy.
Yeah, for sure.
He's trying to corner me, isn't he?
He is. So one more. Marty or Norv?
Wow. I would say, man, that once again, two different styles, completely. Mm-hmm. Marty was, especially young when I was first with Marty, it was always, I'm going to hang on to the best 53 people, 53 men. That's how I'm going to make my roster. And I used to love that. And that got a little bit sideways towards the end of his tenure with the Chiefs. But Marty was, he was hard-nosed. He was very, very good speaker, things like that. I think Norv got a bad rap. I love Norv. What you saw in public, sometimes he didn't seem like he was very eloquent with how he addressed the media and different things. But you get him behind closed doors in the locker room, we didn't have to worry about what he could say wrong or right. Norv could bring it.
Is that right? Oh, wow.
Norv could bring it now. And he was a tough guy. He was a hard man too. But he loved his players, which Marty did too. But once you got to know Norv, players loved him. They loved to play for him. They really did. He was honest and upfront and told you exactly how it was. So I really enjoyed working for Marty. I really did. But Norv he had a little something different about him that I think if the GM hadn't disassembled that lineup we had personnel-wise, I think we would have got it done. I really do.
Wow. Okay.
If ands and buts, if Tony doesn't get that BS offensive pass interference call in the end zone, we beat Indy and we go to that was probably one of the best teams I've ever been on, talent-wise.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We had trouble stopping people sometimes.
Yeah.
But I really look back at that year, and that it's hard to blame it on one call, but I thought it was a BS call. Because we scored and they called offensive pass interference. We got to settle for a field goal, and they get the ball last. There was not one punt in that whole game.
Man. Punt. Yeah.
So they get the ball last, and that's everybody scored every time they had the ball. So they got the ball last, and that basically did it.
Yeah. We should have won. We should have definitely won that year. I thought that was our year, man. I really did. And it was a terrible job.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had the Patriots in their undefeated season at Foxborough for the AFC Championship game with the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And Chris Chambers catches a touchdown, and they said he stepped on the back of the end zone. And they didn't have replay. I mean, there was no replay. But you look at it on tape.
Yeah.
He didn't step out. It's clearly a touchdown. We got to kick a field goal there. Norv dials up a play. We're going to score again. It's going to be a walk-in for Michael Turner. And from out of nowhere, Junior Seau just loses his mind. We've never even shown the play before. And he comes across and blitzes I think it was either the A gap or the B gap, and hits him in the backfield. So we got to kick another field goal. It was a walk-in. They had they were so misaligned, and he just, being Junior, I mean, just came and made a play from out of nowhere like a pro. And or those 2 years, you look back at years, and that year with the Chiefs and that year with the Chargers, I think we would have had a good chance of going all the way.
Yeah.
That's football.
It's football, man. It's football. It's good stuff right there. It's good stuff, man.
Marcus, where are you from, Marcus? Are you from Kansas City?
No, I'm from Northern Virginia, right outside of D.C. I just grew up a Chiefs fan. My older brother was a huge Chiefs and 76ers fan, and growing up just became fans of both those teams.
So do you do this in Kansas City, or are you still in Virginia?
Virginia.
You do okay, so you do the show from Virginia.
And JD's in Kentucky, and so we got the little SEC thing going down here.
Oh, heavens yes. Heavens yes. Yeah, we'll see how this UT team holds up in the SEC.
Yeah, the conference alignment. What are your thoughts on the whole conference alignment? Where do you think that's headed as far as college football?
Man, it's going to be the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I mean, if you're not in a Big Five conference, you're going to get left out. Man. It's too bad, It's just going to be those guys, and that's it. College football is. And with the UILs, or is that what they are?
NILs. Yeah, NILs.
NILs. I mean, I heard a coach the other day. I can't remember what school he was from. It was a big time school, but it wasn't they weren't considered Power 5. And he was looking for a quarterback that's a backup on somebody's team in the portal. And he said the going rate was $1.2 million to get the backup quarterback to come play for him. Yes. I'm like,
backup?
What? Yeah. To come and start for him, the going rate was 1.2.
It's crazy.
Like, you got
that's
to be
insane.
kidding.
Yeah, that's insane. There ain't no way. Ain't no way. I think so. I've talked about this before. I do believe the guys need to get paid, but there needs to be some type of either regulation or the way that it's done better than what it is now. Because now it's what are you teaching kids when they're just having like these huge deals, and they're like mercs. Jeff, they go from one place to the next. So if I don't get to play, I'm gonna go here, and it's the highest bidder, and you're not establishing any type of continuity with that. No.
I always thought that. I coached at college for quite a while, and you played in college, and it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's
and
hard.
You can't in the off season. You can't get a job if you're on scholarship.
Right.
It's hard. So I think, and with all the money that the university makes off the players, I always thought they should get compensated, but now it's a free for all. I mean, there's no regular. It's just, boosters can do whatever they want now, pay whatever they want, and it's definitely a business again.
Yeah.
Well, it's happened at the high school level too. Kids are transferring all the time. I don't get enough playing time. They're on a travel team. I'm not getting to play enough. I'm going to go to this other travel team. I mean,
I heard this weekend that some kids are getting paid to play at other high schools. Same thing.
Yeah.
I just it blows my mind. Yeah. What is it really? Yeah. What are you teaching? What are you teaching?
I know. I told somebody this the other day when I was at Fort Hays State University. It's a Division II school in Kansas where I played, and I was there. I followed a coach out there from my junior college, and it was awful weather. It was, I was coming from Arizona. It was terrible in my mind. And I called my dad up. I said, Dad, I'm coming home with Thanksgiving. He goes, let me ask you a couple questions first. He goes, are they paying for your school? Yes, sir. He goes, are they feeding you? Yes, sir. Are they giving you a place to live? Yes, sir. He goes, then the only way you're coming home is if you're going into service, because they're taking care of you, so you're not coming home. Okay, so I made it work, and it turned out fine. Yeah. But, it forces you to have to adapt and figure out what you got to do to be successful wherever you're at.
Right.
Instead of just looking for a way out.
Yeah. It's good values right there. I mean, that's kids need to learn that, right?
Yeah.
I heard Cooper Kupp was talking about deserved or earned.
Yep, I
And
saw that.
did you see that? That was so
great.
good.
That was
So good. Yeah, I was like, daggone. So every kid needs to hear this.
Yeah, and that's coming from a guy that's had success at the highest level.
That's right. That's right. So if you haven't seen that, y'all go look it out and check it out, man. Cooper Kupp saying that. Yeah, absolutely deserving to earn. When I go and I'll talk to, like now what I'm doing, Jeff, kind of consulting, football coaches, going to different teams and stuff. I talk to a lot of different high school football players and teams. That's going to be one of the things I bring in, man. If I could just show it to kids just so they can see that little clip to understand, like, look, it ain't deserved. You don't deserve anything. You got to earn it.
Yeah.
You got to earn every bit of it. So
yeah, no one's entitled.
No.
JD, I look back, I was coaching at Western Michigan and working for free training camps for the Chiefs during my downtime, right?
Yeah.
So I was getting 3 hots and a cot working training camps for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Redman called me, the strength coach, before I came in and said, hey, we're going to start a brand new position in the league. It's an internship. It's going to pay you $600 a month, no benefits. And I was the head strength coach at Western. I'm like, man, what do I do? So, I talked to the wife, I talked to family, I prayed about it. I'm like, man, there's only so many horses on that merry-go-round. If I don't jump on one, I don't know. So
yeah,
we took it, and for 2 years, I worked on weekends for Belger Moving Company. And at night, I worked at the airport throwing bags. So I'd work all day in the weight room, go home, eat real quick, drive to the airport, throw bags until the last flight at midnight, get up in the morning, go to work. And I did that for 2 years, and I took all my money out of TIA Cref that I had built up. We had a kid with no insurance. I mean, it was rough, and we finally were going broke. So I took a job at the University of Tulsa. And I'll be darned, within a year, Jacksonville started their franchise, and that the guy that Tom Coughlin hired as his head strength coach knew me and knew that I had spent some time in the league. He called me and said, you want to be my assistant? I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I'm there for 3 years, and Marty calls me, and says, hey, Redman's taking a leave of absence. Would you come and be my guy? Because I want things to kind of go as I'm used to them, how Redman did them. I said, man, I'll be there. When do you want me? I'll be there tomorrow. So the point I'm telling you this is, it's earned. It really is. It's not given, it's earned. And I look back going through that, how it made me grow as a man and made me, really decide that this is what I wanted to do. And I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that as a story to tell that, there's no guarantees. You kind of got to make it happen and be willing to, to pay the price to do it. It's like you said, and Cooper said, it's earned. It's not given.
That's right. That's right. Man.
I remember every time I get on a plane, I look out there on the ramp and see those guys throwing bags, and I kind of quiver like, man, that was that's some work there now. I tell you what.
Man, I tell you what, man, that when you understand things are privileged playing in the NFL, that nobody says you're supposed to make it. Nobody is. And so you got to earn every bit of it. And I know these guys give it up every single day, working hard at practice. But Jeff, I just want to tell you again, brother, okay, how much, man, I love you, how much I appreciate you. The other guys, man, when we tell stories just about you, man, the things that you've done just for us, man, I can't. And I look at it like this, Jeff. I say it this way. And like I remember I told you before, we don't never do it alone. My friend said, anytime you see a turtle sitting on a post, he never got up there alone. He always needed
That's a
help.
good analogy. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way he got up there by himself.
There ain't no way he got up there by himself. But because of good men like yourself, Coach Ramil, every player that I played with, coach that I played with, man, I have such a love and a respect, deep respect for that I can never just thank enough. My family thanks you, even though, they don't say it, they all benefit from these things, right? That's how these things work. So I tell everybody that's on the chat who come out here, it's the same thing. When they come and watch us, man, I love each and every one of them just for the interaction that we give. And it's the human side of it, that we need to have for one another, and having the love and having the respect for one another the way that we should. But man, I tell you, Jeff, man, I like I said before, man, I have a deep, deep love for you in my heart, man. If I ain't told you, man, how much I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, my brother. I really do, man.
I feel the same about you, JD. I love you like a brother. And
That's
that
right.
whole group, it's just I'm only as good as my players. And that's the honest truth. Is I'm only as good as the guys that did the work. And you guys were, like Barbershop, Baber, those guys you just mentioned. Man, I love them all, man. I mean, it was such a fun group, man. Because nobody cared other than if we won or not. And we're going to come in and work, and we're going to go win. And that's
right.
It's like Dick said, the main thing is the main thing. And
that's right.
But it's the work behind the scenes that gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not a day where I dreaded coming in to work with you guys, because I gave it to you guys and you guys gave it back. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, man, we appreciate it, brother. Believe me. Yeah. Newt Rodney says group hug. So there is always a group hug, man, right here, baby. It's always a group hug right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the manly list right here, group hug, man. You know what I'm saying? We hold tightly together for one another, So that's what we do, man. We go to war for one another, and no
always
question about it.
Too. Always there.
Always.
I mean,
yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
And it's still in the vault.
Always
in the vault.
I know it. I already know that too. I love that as well, brother. Yeah. But man, look, Marcus, you have anything else for Jeff, man? I know we held you for a little bit, hour 37. Kept going.
Amazing talk. Everyone in the chat was loving everything that you had to say, Jeff. I want to say from a personal standpoint, I want to say that thank you for all the support that you've shown our podcast. I know I've seen you retweet our stuff before, like our stuff on Instagram, share some stuff on Instagram. So I really appreciate all the support you've given our podcast and our channel since we started this thing.
So what are y'all hearing on Jet McKinnon?
As of right now, he's still sitting out there in free agency. I don't know. Do you have any insight?
No, I haven't. I got to reach out to him and find out.
Okay.
What he's up to. I haven't heard anything.
So. Now, do you think that there's a way that you could maybe get Jet McKinnon on the podcast so maybe you can talk about what's been going on with him in the offseason, what he's been doing?
I'll leave that up to him. I don't want to.
Okay. It'd be good to talk to Jet. Man. He seemed like a cool cat. Seemed like a really good dude. So.
He's awesome. I mean, we spent a lot of time when he was with the Vikings, like getting him to where he was, playing. He was another guy. He earned it. He earned it. And they started realizing what he could bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Swiss Army knife, And we worked like a lot of running backs when they come in the league. It's like, dude, you got a pass pro. You're not going to see the field, And
right.
He would come and find me, and we would go out into the indoor facility, and we had these heavy bags, and I'd just beat the crap out of him with this heavy bag, and get your butt down, get your center of gravity, come up, bust them up under the chin, hold the point of attack, just do what you can, just be like a chuckawalla. I don't know if you guys know what a chuckawalla is. It was a lizard I grew up with out in Arizona. And if them jokers latched onto you, the Native American thought behind them was they don't let go until the sun goes down, or else you cut their jaw muscle. So I showed him what a chuckawalla was, and I explained to him. I said, "You got to be a chuckawalla when you pass pro. You got to get your nose in there, and you can't let go. You bite them down on them, and you don't let go." Got to give. If you give that guy one more second, just a half a second, you'll get the ball off. So anyway,
man, look,
I miss Jet.
Well, I tell you what, man, we'll miss him too if he doesn't come back, man, because he was a technician. When I watch him and blocking, like you're talking about it, like he has it down to a science, man. And I said he's the best pass blocking running back that I've seen in such a long time.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. Well, that's why Sproles was so effective. Darren Sproles.
That's right. Yeah,
was he surprised people. Now every time he come in the game, everybody's thinking screen, draw. And we could call whatever play we wanted because he would pass pro too. That little.
Do we lose him?
No.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
I think so. It's just frozen right now. Jeff, you there? Uh-oh. Yep, some technical difficulties. It's,
Oh, man. Gone. All right.
He's out right now.
Okay. But shoot. Well, man, that was the good stories right there, man. Oh, my gosh. We just talking about the memories, taking all that back to where it is. But then also, too, just getting an inside look on how these coaches deal with it. And see it, that's incredible insight. So people can see how everybody gets prepared before you get into training camp. What the coaches are thinking. Just a really good episode right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to come back. He just said he's lost connection. Let's see.
Yeah, let's get him back on and say goodbye to him the proper way.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, no, listen, I appreciate everybody coming in. And I would tell everybody that when Jeff comes back in. But yeah, man, that was some good insight right there. For young guys, just to hear about like how do you make the team? What do you need to do to make the team? What the coaches are thinking, from the training standpoint, from injuries and whatnot, all the things you do. So, yeah, he said he's going to come back in. So, see if we can get him on in here. But I love everybody. Look, thank you all for the questions that y'all had. Sometimes we just rolling through trying to get all of y'all questions, man. There's a whole lot there, but it's always good catching up, man. These memories, these times and these deals. So, wonderful time.
Newt, no politics in the chat, Newt. Come on now, Newt. You can stick to LRZ, but no politics, buddy.
Sorry, Newt. Ask the question. Trump versus Biden debate. What of it?
Well, I just want to get anyone going on any certain political thing.
It's all right. It's okay. Hey, how about America? How about that? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
To win.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, we have a heart for people. We do. We have a heart for the people and everybody out here who's coming on the show, just talking to us. Appreciate each and every one of you all just sticking with us, enjoying the show, talking about it. So, yeah, we'll see if Jack come back in. Has he got in yet?
No, sir. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also interesting. It's cool to see the guys, who had an integral part in creating you, you had to kind of change up your career a little bit from when you left Philly to come into Kansas City. You kind of change it up, and that was obviously from day one. You were like one of the first Chief guys you actually got to like work with was Jeff. So that's it's pretty cool to see the guy who kind of like took JD and made JD 2.0 in the second half of your career. I think it's pretty sweet.
It was, and I forgot when he said that. I remembered because I did come in early. Because I was still coming off my knee injury, that Jeff was there. I talked to Gunn to try to get me ready for camp, and so that was part of it. That was part of reason signing him there. But that's why I love Gunn so much because Gunn was just like, "Look, JD, we're gonna make sure you're right, you're ready, because that's how bad I want you, So it was a good time, to have somebody in your corner like Gunther, and then have Jeff come in and get me ready, like I said, for camp, man. But like I told you, man, I couldn't play unless Jeff, if he didn't stretch me before a game, it wasn't right, man. It wasn't right. So that was my guy. Jeff was like, everybody, yo, Jeff. I said, man, my hamstrings are tight, brother. Shoot, got to get some work. So, man, he would do some magic, man. But we talking about like the conversations we'd have in down in the weight room and whatnot. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. So,
yes, sir. Yeah, he's still not in the chat or in the room yet, JD.
Okay.
Yeah, JD, I tried to do some research on the Dale Graham. I couldn't find it. I saw he had a lot of interceptions against the Eagles in the years you played down there, but I couldn't find the one where you made the tackle. 96, I couldn't see that, and 97, I couldn't find. Yeah, I couldn't find it. So I don't know. Do you know what year it was or?
No, shoot.
I'm trying to do my archival footage and go back in the vault for the people.
Well, you think because we playing the Washington twice a year.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's I don't even know when it was, but that was
together.
Yeah, it was some good. I tell you what, some good times. Just playing against those guys. Some of you had to probably go to NFL Film for, but
they have from 96, 97. They have both games on YouTube. So I just did quickly. I was trying to skim through while we were on the show. I skimmed through 96. He had to pick 6 in one of them where he took it straight to the house. No one was near him. And Jeff's back in here. Yeah. Jeff, you there?
Hey.
Hey.
I mean,
there we go. Yeah. Okay. So Jeff, my wife's. Can you hear me?
Wait. There.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
No. You good? Hey, this you know how it is, technology. My wife asked Jeff if he would stretch you now. She's laughing. That's my wife. She's always.
Hey, tell her if she'll fly me in, I will.
She may do that. Because sometimes I leave it up to her to help me, and she just like, oh my gosh, your leg is so heavy. Like
tell me about it.
I know she's getting a kick out of that one. Oh man. So now, man, listen, we just wanted to bring you back on, man, and just give you a proper just goodbye to you, brother. But this ain't gonna be the last time on the show, man. We appreciate it so much. Believe me, everybody loves, man, the conversation, Jeff. They did, just talking about this, brother. So
well, I know there's probably a lot more smarter strength coaches out there now than me, but I know this. What we had it going on, JD, and you guys. I appreciate you and the whole group. Will and Trent and all of them. Barbershop.
Yeah.
Everybody. It was such a good group it gives me the opportunity to reflect back on really how good a group that was and the love that I feel for all of them.
Yeah. Well, brother, like I told you, man, we love you back. You know that. So, we got each other back, man.
Well, listen, I want to say I appreciate being on too. I'll look forward to the next one.
Okay. Well, shoot, man, we got to get it sooner than later. Got to get it sooner than later, brother.
Okay.
So,
Marcus, it was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too, Jeff.
And,
finally got to put the man behind the DMs and all the tweets that we've exchanged back and forth.
Yeah, Jeff, man, is a good man. So everybody here, Lonnie, Pyramid, Wifey, Newt Rockney, Wendy, Charles Driver, Lacey Snake, Donna Cochran, Andrea Chenault, Mel Matrix, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. Man, who else we got? Everybody's in here. There's a lot. Stewart, Charles Driver. Man, there's tons of people in here. Just want to let everybody know, man, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all coming in and checking it out. Noah, John Marshall, he's all the way out there in the South Pacific. He comes to watch our show,
wow.
Jeff. Yeah, man.
The Chiefs Kingdom is strong, and it's everywhere.
Yes, it is. So now we appreciate everybody coming in, come checking us out. But, more importantly, for you coming in and checking you out too, man, and get some of your knowledge and whatnot, and just seeing, like you said, the guy that helped build a foundation and built hard men, tough warriors. I said that a weapon. You was developing weapons out there, Jeff, forging them, putting them together, brother. So,
well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had some good weapons to work with. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. My nephew Chad, Donna, Gary Holland, all of those people. Listen, thank you so much for the evening. Appreciate it. Like you said, Jeff, it's not going to be his last time on here. We just thank you for his time, for his knowledge and everything about him. Love you so much. Chief Concerns, love you so much for coming in tonight, talking to us, like always, engaging with us. Marcus, man, my brother, love you.
Too,
appreciate it. But
you guys got a good thing going.
Man, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. So we keep it as organic as possible, you know what I mean? To one another. So
that's the best way.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Anytime.
All right, Jeff. Yes, sir. Man, I'll be talking to you sometime soon, Jeff. Got me? Okay. All right, brother. Love you. We'll see you. All right.
See you. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Everybody. Well, everyone, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. A lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom bestowed there from JD and Jeff. So that was really good stuff. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys Wednesday night for our midweek episode. Hope everyone has a good rest of your night, and we'll see you guys Wednesday. Love you, everybody.
Be good. Love y'all. We'll see y'all.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.